Hello， 大家好，欢迎来到靓仔读报，每天一篇外刊文章，跟我一起读外刊学英语看世界。点赞加关注，收获更多内容。私信文章日期领取 PDF 文档。大家好，今天我用 ChatGPT 协助写了一个爬虫脚本，把有道词典里的单词全部都分别导了出来。在这过程当中，我意识到大语言模型其实并没有想象的那么不能用，所以今天就对用大语言模型来辅助自己去编程这个事情比较感兴趣。所以今天我们看的这篇文章就是这个意思，叫做 Web Coding。接下来我们就从 Medium 上去看一下这篇文章。我们依旧是先听音频，然后再如此进行翻译。
Software, AI and marketing. Musings about growth marketing, Gen AI and random thoughts. A comprehensive guide to vibe coding tools. If you have been hanging around developers watering holes X and YouTube, chances are you have come across a new emerging lexicon with words like crap, cooked, lock-in and variations of vibe coding. Every time there is a new wave of a trend like this, I often wonder, is there a way to trace a trend back to one moment? One conversation where this may have started and then took on a whole new life. Maybe not for everything, but thanks to most of the conversations now happening in the online world, the provenance of some can be verifiably traced back to the moment something was minted. This is the story of vibe coding, a term first articulated by the prolific thinker Andrej Karpathy. Ever since this was posted, the post has been viewed over 4.5 million times. And the ever-expanding plethora of vibe coding tools has become a mini-industry of its own. To be fair, a lot of these existed before this now famous tweet, but now with an official category name. There are no dearth of influencers riding the wave of posting and reposting screenshots of games and other SaaS applications people have been building using vibe coding. In many ways, I think of vibe coding as an evolution of programming, from telling the system how to do something, for example a bubble sort, to telling it what to do. In some cases, as Andrej mentioned, it probably does not matter how certain things are made as long as they work. And therein also lies the challenge if you are an engineer working in a team in a large enterprise where you're not building new games or apps every day, rather working on millions of lines of code that have been already written to improve, fix and add features on top of. Here, it does matter how things are made. If vibe coding is about day zero experience of building apps, day one is about building upon that code, fixing bugs, adding features and working with other team members. As a professional dopamine chaser who loves to build things and get a kick out of watching something come to life, I have been using and playing around with all possible vibe coding tools I could get my hands on for a few months now. In this article, I am cataloging those tools as of today to organize my own thoughts and help others who may be interested in getting a high-level overview of this fascinating new universe of coding before diving in. Before we dive in though, let's break the vibe coding tools under some broad categories of what people are looking to build. Full stack app. A full stack app consists of a front-end code UI, backend API calls, database integration and storage. If you have a business idea and you are looking to sell software or a product, this is what you want, which means in addition to the list of things above, there are two other important ingredients of full stack apps: authentication and payment integration. Finally, once the app is made, you want to deploy it to a server so that users can access them from a URL. Traditionally, building a full-stack app required teams of people and took months, if not years, to build. Today, believe it or not, you can build a full-stack app in a day with just you sitting in front of a computer. Let's first look at UI-centric AI coding tools that can be used to build full-stack apps. Using these tools, not only can you generate and immediately view the apps, but you can also click on certain elements in the app and continue asking the AI tool to change specific parts of the UI. Tempo Labs is not entirely built for a no-coder, but it also has fairly good controls for both low-code and intermediate programmers. With Tempo Labs, you can choose the authentication technology and backend at the start of the project, and one of its neat features is that it also generates the product requirements document PRD and user flow diagrams along with the code, and you can continue to either add new components visually or directly with AI. The overall user flow diagram is also a very nifty way to visualize your app's user journey in an efficient way. With Tempo Labs, you can also create payment integration with Stripe and Polar and enable authentication and database with Supabase or Convex. More recently, Tempo Labs launched a new feature that enables creating a new application from an existing GitHub repo. However, at the time of writing this article, I could not get this to work for 3 different Next.js existing applications. I have hope this gets better with time so the tool becomes useful not for just day 0 apps but also day 1 plus apps. 2. Bold.new. Bold.diy. Similar to Tempo Labs, Bold.new is a tool created by Stackless that enables building an entire full-stack app using AI visually. Its unique features is to directly import designs from a Figma account and convert those into code applications. Stackless had introduced the idea of web containers that enable Node to run in the browser, and using this feature, which means not only can you use AI prompts to build the app visually, you can also open the entire code base in a Visual Studio IDE running a browser. Stackless. This enables making changes to the code directly when you need to, and you can add additional VS Code extensions to keep your programming experience consistent across multiple computing environments. Bold.new also has integration with Supabase that lets you create both authentication as well as standard backend database CRUD operations, but at the time of writing this article I did not see an out-of-box integration with a payment system like Polar or Stripe. Finally, they recently added the ability to import a project from GitHub, which means you can bring in an existing application and continue to work in Stackless. However, the apps you import into Stackless is not something you can use in Bold.new, but this would be a good feature if the creators add in the future. 3. Lovable.dev. Probably the most user-friendly for non-coders and low-coders, the next full-stack AI tool to look at is Lovable.dev. It has very similar features to both Bold.new and Tempo Labs. You can build and deploy an entire app using the AI prompt, and one Lovable's unique feature is to be able to select parts of an app web page and request the AI to make very targeted and specific changes. It is also integrated to Supabase for both authentication and database CRUD operations, and you can connect your GitHub repo to the app. This means you can work on your code base outside of Lovable, and when you do a push to the main branch, Lovable does an automatic pull, so you can go back and forth from either writing code in your code editor or using Lovable's visual UI prompts. There are a few other tools just like the 3 above, but in order to not make this article not too unwieldy, I will just mention these but not go into detail since they are very similar to all the 3 above. Replit Agent allows you to build apps using AI prompts and directly deb. Base 44. This is another tool very similar to the ones above but has more bare-bones starter template and seems like it is geared more towards more advanced developers. Now that we have looked at the full-stack visual tools, let's look at some of the code editor tools that have become very popular in making applications. Within this category itself, there are either VS Code forks or extensions that lie within VS Code. Personally, I prefer VS Code extensions because I can switch tools as needed without changing my experience, and I am not locked into one tool or one way of doing things for the same code base. VS Code fork. Cursor. One of the early starters in the vibe coding space, Cursor first started as a way to chat and get code completions and changes. A few weeks later, they launched Composer feature that allowed users to directly tell the agents to make the code changes directly, and since then this entire space and this tool has evolved significantly. More recently, Cursor also added support for MCP servers so that you can also use it to call other pre-built tools and services to help build an entire app using just AI prompts. What I don't like about Cursor is that it has become very complicated with different and often unnecessary bells and whistles, and as the codebase becomes bigger and complicated, you now have to maintain rules files and context files to constantly guide Cursor to not mess up and do things that are either not needed or repeat mistakes that were already fixed. 2. Windsurf. Similar to Cursor, Windsurf is another VS Code fork and has very similar if not identical features. In terms of user experience, Windsurf comes across better than Cursor, but the results you get from the AI models are usually similar, given this also does not have constant context of the code base as it continues to grow. Windsurf also has support for MCP servers. One of the new features that Windsurf added, which is not currently in Cursor, is the ability to preview the app directly in the code editor. This is something, however, I think others will also add to their tools. 3. Tree. Speaking of preview or web view, yet another VS Code fork is from the makers of TikTok called Tree. It has better user experience and a very generous free tier. but it lacks MCP integration features, which means you cannot really use only this tool for your entire application build. Not a surprise, it also lacks robust context management, which means it is not very useful if you are trying to work on existing code base or if you are working with multiple team members. Now let's look at the last category, my favorite, VS Code extensions. These are AI tools that you can bolt onto your existing coding workflow and add remove as needed given the fast pace of changes in this area. VS Code extensions. AMP. In May, AMP, a fully autonomous coding agent, was released both as a VS Code extension and as a CLI. What is different about AMP is that it is built for teams and especially aimed at engineers who see themselves as quality-obsessed perfectionists. AMP is pay-per-token model, so it does not restrict token or tools usage, which means the model goes about doing things the way it is designed to, resulting in better outcomes. Users on X have been posting positively about it since it was released. It also has a team shareable threads feature that allows team members to learn from each other's conversation with the agent. Finally, given that this is also available as a CLI if you are working on deterministic workflows on Linux, for example, you can now pipe in an LP to AMP and build some interesting automation workflows. 2. Augment. Augment is a VS Code extension that integrates with existing repositories by first indexing and then analyzing the codebase. If you are on a free tier, it tells you that the tool will use your codebase for their own training, which to me is a put-off. However, if you are okay with that, then once the codebase has been indexed, you can use Augment to primarily either ask questions about your code or get code completions. At the time of writing this, Augment did not have an agentic mode, nor did it support MCPs. 3. Continue. Continue is similar to Cursor in that it has both a chat mode and an agent mode, and it has MCP servers integration. It also has a feature to index your entire codebase, but it still requires users to mention files and folders in order to get the right context. What I also like about Continue is that it has MCP integration as well, so I can bring in my tools like Brave Search and Firecrawl to build additional context. 4. Cline also has similar if not identical features to Cursor and Windsurf, but in a VS Code extension vs an entire VS Code fork. Cline's agentic features focus on task automation, allowing developers to describe complex tasks that the tool then breaks down and implements step by step. For UI modifications, Cline can analyze component structure and suggest changes that maintain visual consistency. What distinguishes Cline is its specialized code prediction feature that anticipates what developers might need next based on coding patterns and current context. Having said that, I found Cline to be very token hungry, which makes it expensive, especially if you try to run it in a YOLO you only live once mode. 5. Sourcegraph. Probably the best tool for professional grade developers looking to work on existing code bases and multiple team members is Sourcegraph. It offers enterprise-grade repository integration with support for multiple version control systems and large-scale codebases. This means you can connect hundreds of repositories and not only search across them but look for insights and do batch changes like refactoring or updating a library or security fixes and so forth. Recently, it also added a VS Code extension, Cody, that is integrated with Sourcegraph, and you can use AI. What makes Sourcegraph stand out is its cross-repository awareness that allows developers to understand how code is used and shared across multiple projects, making it especially valuable for large organizations. There are 2 other tools in this space that are similar that are worth mentioning. Phoenix distinguishes itself with its code evolution tracking feature that helps understand how code has changed over time, making it easier to plan and implement consistent modifications. Pythagora. I found Pythagora's use interface hard to get used to, but having said that, it is great if you are building a brand new node-based app. It was not very helpful when I tried it against an existing codebase. I also found the overall user experience to be extremely confusing. Finally, let's look at the last category of standalone tools. Standalone tools. Devin Cognition Labs. Devin connects to existing repositories through a combination of Git integration and specialized code understanding capabilities. Its code-based search and context features are good, with the ability to understand complex project structures and dependencies across large codebases. Devin's agentic capabilities are its primary strength, allowing it to function as an autonomous developer that can plan, implement, debug, and test code with minimal human intervention. What is different and a little strange about Devon is that you can interface with it only through Slack, which means if you are a one-person company, you also need to get Slack. 2. Aider meant for more advanced users. Aider, a terminal-based tool, provides straightforward repository integration through command line interfaces and Git, making it easy to incorporate into existing development workflows. Its code-based context capabilities focus on understanding local code structure and maintaining consistency with existing patterns. Aider's agentic capabilities enable it to act as a pair programmer, implementing requested changes while maintaining awareness of the broader code-based context. Its UI modification capabilities are more limited, focusing primarily on functional components rather than design systems. Aider's distinguishing feature is its conversation-driven development approach, where developers describe changes in natural language and Aider implements them while maintaining a conversational interface for clarifications and revisions. 3. Claude Code. Launched a few days before I started writing this article, Anthropic released Claude Code, which is primarily a terminal-based tool. What is unique about Claude Code is that it first reads and understands the code base, which is then used for the remainder of the session to chat and make changes. It also persists this memory in a markdown file that can be modified and used for future sessions. Claude Code's agentic capabilities focus on task automation and assistance rather than fully autonomous development. I should mention though that Claude Code is by far the most expensive tool and is a token guzzler. For a simple set of changes that I tested against, I saw a token usage of about $5 in a couple of hours. Since this is an Anthropic released tool, I should also mention that it only supports Claude as a model for now. Conclusion. In this article we saw the different categories of AI tools that can be used for vibe coding, and each has its pros and cons. The reality is that as of today you cannot just rely on one tool to build and maintain your entire application. I also found most of the tools only geared for day zero new app building use cases and hopeful for tools like Sourcegraph, Claude Code, and continue to get better at doing day one plus coding tasks.
接下来我们就逐词进行翻译。
Comprehensive.
Hanging around.
Watering.
Holes.
Emerging.
Lexicon. Cracked.
Cooked.
Lock.
Variation.
Vibe coding. Thanks to.
Provenance.
Verifiably.
mint, articulated, prolific,
exponential, composer,
Super whisper.
Barely.
dumb,
Decrease.
padding,
Diffs.
Comprehension. Throwaway. Amusing. Building.
Ever expanding.
plethora,
To be fair.
category, dearth, hosting,
evolution,
bubble,
therein,
Features. Fixing bugs.
dopamine,
chaser,
kick out,
catalog,
fascinating, though, stack, consist, integration,
storage,
software,
addition,
In addition.
ingredient, authentication,
payment,
integration,
deploy,
access,
traditionally,
Believe if or not.
Centric.
Generate. Click.
Specific.
Entirely.
No coder.
Fairly.
Intermediate.
Tempo.
Authentication. Neat.
Feature.
Diagrams. Components.
Visually. Export. Iterate. Overall. Nifty.
Efficient.
Integration.
Enable.
Convex.
Enable.
Convert.
Introduce. Additional.
Extension.
Consistent. Authentication.
Fourth.
Unwieldy.
Bare.
Bones. Geared.
Visual.
Extension.
Completion.
Composer.
Evolved.
Significantly.
MCP.
Pre-built. Whistles. Codebase.
Maintain. Constantly.
Mess up.
Identical. Constant.
Generous.
Tier.
Robust. Existing.
Extension. Autonomous.
Quality obsessed.
Perfectionist.
Resulting.
Positively. Threads. Deterministic. Augment.
Integrate.
Repository.
Put off.
Indexed.
Completion.
Agent.
Codebase.
Mention.
In order to.
As well.
Klein.
Identical.
Agent. Implement.
Modification.
Component. Distinguish.
Specialized.
Anticipate.
Patterns.
Probably.
Enterprise grade.
Large scale.
Codebase.
Cody.
Mention.
Phoenix.
Distinguish.
Implement.
Modification.
Confusing.
Combination.
Capability.
Dependency.
Agent. Implement.
Intervention.
Straightforward. Incorporate. Capability. Maintain.
Consistency.
Capability.
Implement.
Modification.
Capability.
Components. Rather than.
Conversation driven.
Implement.
Clarification. Revision.
remainder, persist,
guzzler,
Anthropic.
Conclusion. Geared.
现在已经59分了，时间有点长，所以关于中英文对照的部分，我们就不在视频当中去展开。我会把它同步到公众号上，然后大家可以去看文章，或者是私信我看 PDF 再去查看。OK，那就这样。